Hi, everybody. My name is Jenna Overbaugh. I'm a therapist here at OCD, and we had so much great feedback from a recent post that we did on our Instagram at Treat My OCD on procrastination and how this is such a huge problem for people who have OCD. And we wanted to lean into this content a little bit more. We wanted to give you some more background about it and some more information. Procrastination is very common for people who have OCD and related conditions. And that's for a variety of reasons, not just the ones that we're going to talk about right now in this video, but it can just add a lot of various difficulties to various projects and tasks that might be easier for people who don't have OCD, for instance. So, the first thing that really gets in the way is this idea of perfectionism. There are obviously exceptions, but people who have OCD tend to be more perfectionistic. They tend to want to do things perfectly or in a way that feels or looks just right. And so, having those kind of intense standards when it comes to completing projects or doing tasks or doing jobs, it can make us feel like there's too much pressure. We can have so much anxiety about completing a certain task because we feel like it needs to be done perfectly that, we just get too anxious about it. We have too much stress about it. And so we procrastinate it. We put it off, we put it off. I've also seen this feeling of just rightness or perfectionism come along the lines of how someone feels or how they wait for the right time to do something. I think a lot of times people with OCD wait for the perfect time or the right time to get started with a task, or they have to feel like they're in the perfect mindset. And that definitely contributes to procrastination, right? When are we ever going to be in the right mindset? When are we ever going to be feeling just 100% perfect about this thing? When chances are, and research shows, the more that we actually avoid this task and the more that we procrastinate this task, the more we are actually building it up in our minds to be this insurmountable thing that we aren't able to accomplish. And so we get less and less confident in our abilities about it. So we tend to also, as people who have OCD, tend to overestimate how time consuming things can be while also simultaneously underestimating our abilities to do that thing. So that OCD esqueness is really coming at us from two different angles. We are overestimating how hard something will be and how time consuming it is, while also simultaneously not being able to give ourselves enough credit or have the confidence that we feel like we actually need in order to accomplish that task. So the next thing is just avoidance, right? So we tend to avoid things that are associated with negative emotions or uncomfortable emotions. And if we are feeling a lot of pressure, if we're feeling a lot of anxiety about something, it's our natural state, our natural human drive to want to avoid that thing. And then when we throw OCD on top of it, we're even more intolerant of that distress. We're even more needing of that certainty, needing of that comfort to feel good. And so it's very common that when we're feeling that way and when we have those tendencies, someone with OCD is probably going to want to avoid those tasks. So people with OCD may also feel this need to control their thoughts, to control their emotions, that they only want to be feeling or thinking good things. And they're worried that if this task or this job or this project is going to evoke any of that negativity or any of those icky feelings, those uncomfortable emotions, they want to steer clear of that. They want to put it off and put it off. And then finally, one of the last major factors that gets in the way for people who have OCD is this problem of indecision. People who have OCD tend to doubt themselves, right? That's why they call it the doubt disorder. They tend to doubt whether they've made a right decision. They tend to maybe feel okay about something, but then they go back and they have almost like buyer's remorse for the decision that they've made. And so they stall. They tend to put a lot of weight into the decisions that they're making. They tend to spend more energy on decision making than actually warrants that amount of effort and time. Yeah, people who have OCD have a hard time making decisions. And if a task or a project or a job involves or requires a lot of decision making to take place, that could lead a person who has OCD to feel very overwhelmed, extremely avoidant. And related to this, people who have OCD often have a hard time prioritizing tasks. They tend to get very overwhelmed. They feel like, oh my gosh, all of these things, they need to be done all at once. I don't know where to start. They feel like everything, every single aspect of a certain job, task, or project needs 100% of their effort. And that's just not possible. Not everything can get 100% of your effort. Not everything can be done first. Not everything can be 100% important. And so that mental confusion and that difficulty can be really difficult for somebody who has OCD, therefore making it feel a lot more tempting and easy to give in to dysfunctional safety patterns like procrastination, avoidance, so on and so forth. So, if you resonate with any of this, if you find your OCD impacting you in such a way that you do feel more vulnerable to procrastination, we would love to hear more about this, hear more from you on our Treat My OCD app in our community. We would love to let you know that you're not alone, let others know that they're not alone. Let us know how procrastination impacts you. And remember that you can always book a free call with a member of our team. You can do that by going to www.nocd.com.